Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show before the free show on a... Ooh, you're kind of tall.
I am. And I'm also kind of quiet. There you go. I didn't do anything. You know who's in... What is going on?
Now it's on.
You know who is in here?
Who?
Ish.
Yeah.
It might have been him.
Yeah, he was definitely sitting in your chair.
It might have been that. Hello, everybody. Did you get your taxes done?
I did.
Did you get your taxes done a while ago, or...
No.
She texted me last night. This is 100% true. And I'm just going to blow up your spot.
Yeah, thanks.
She texted me last night, and she goes, hey, where can I find my Bally W-2?
They sent it to the wrong address.
Okay. Then that... Okay. You get a mild... okay. Two things. One, that's not your fault.
Yes.
So,
two, I should have had it done a lot earlier.
Two, you should have done a lot.
I recognize that.
Should have done the Ned Flanders thing of wake up at midnight on New Year's Day and go, better I get going on those taxes,
next year I'm just paying someone to do it for me.
Don't forget the mints. No, what you've got to do... See, here's the problem.
Because it's a pain.
Your significant other has nothing to do with taxes.
Mm-mm.
My dad's a banker.
Mm-hmm.
My father-in-law's a banker.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law works in banking and is he's an accountant. So it's like,
yeah, we have no...
I'll never do my taxes.
Yeah, we have no numbers pushers in my family or Brian's family. Like, So.
Well, Brian, sounds like time's up.
Throw them away.
Buddy, you better start reading up on some... okay. I do have a topic for the pre-show.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Friday night.
I felt like Dateline.
What'd you do Friday night?
Oh, I went to AEW Battle of the Belts.
How was it?
It was awesome.
What? Okay. That's a pre-show for tomorrow. I want to table that.
Okay.
Because I do want to hear a lot about that and compare that. Because you've now been to 2 wrestling shows in a month.
Yeah.
For 2 different companies.
Yeah, 2 different companies. Yeah, Ish and I went. It was a blast. We had so much fun.
Okay. So I've got a lot of questions about that. We'll table that for tomorrow. But
Okay.
I have a question about Friday. Because Friday night, my mom came over and watched the boys.
Mm-hmm.
And we went out to the Ranger game.
Yes.
We had Rangers tickets. My first time at Globe Life Field.
Mm-hmm.
And so we go out there and enjoying the game. And we're walking around. We're doing the first time at the at the stadium.
You got to take a lap.
Taking the laps, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of striking things. One, liquor everywhere.
Yes, I told you. Like, that place it's like hog heaven when it comes to alcohol.
Shocking amount of liquor.
Yeah,
there.
you can just walk up to the fridge thing and open it and grab it and go.
And it's not just the beer.
Yeah.
Like seeing and it's because at the old park you could only get liquor at like 2 places.
Yeah.
There it's like what would you like?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 1. 2, saw my dad. You may
Yeah.
remember my dad had
Mark.
some health issues last year. He's doing a lot better. So much so, he retired in December, and now they can't keep him off the workforce. He's an usher.
He looks so happy.
He loves his job.
I love that for him.
This is 100% true. We saw him. He came to our seats to say hi, but then we ended up running into him later. This is 100% true.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting on a chair next to an escalator.
Mm-hmm.
People are walking up, and you haven't met my father.
No, he's the only Tupper that I have not.
But he's extremely, like, his whole thing is being friendly. He
Yeah.
just likes to be friendly to everybody. So, like, people are like, hey, how are you? Let me know if I can do anything. Like, that's just him sitting there. And over there, probably from, like, me to the wall, so that's not helpful for an audio medium.
Yeah,
where
not
people are
far.
in this room, is like a TV with the game.
And he just gets to
Sitting
sit
there watching the game.
That's
getting
awesome.
paid for it. Like, he's doing what he would be doing at home.
Home.
Except
But he's
he wears
cashing
a
a check.
uniform and he's cashing a check. Not bad. So we saw him.
Legend.
But here's my pre-show topic, Pickle.
Oh, man, finally.
Walking around, my wife and I have each have a beverage.
Mm-hmm.
Each have a beverage. I think I've finished my beverage.
Okay.
She's still got her beverage. It's a can beverage.
Okay.
And walk by the bathrooms. Hey, I got to run
Mm-hmm.
to that. She, I got to go too. It's like, oh, okay, great. I'll
Perfect,
just reach back
yeah.
out here. She goes, well, no, you go first and then I'll go. No, honey, like we don't have any kids. Like we can both go
We
to the
can
bathroom.
go, yeah.
She goes, no, I need you to hold my beer. No, honey, you could just take the beer in there into the bathroom.
Uh-huh.
No, I'm not taking my beer into the bathroom. So my question for you. My wife's crazy, right? She will not take her beverage. And this doesn't work for this works for beer, this works for soda, this works for whatever.
Whatever, yeah.
She will not take it into the bathroom. And I had never even considered that as an option. I was just like, come on.
Here
You're
we
coming
go.
with me.
I have
You look like you have complicated thoughts.
I do, because I'm very torn. Will I do it? Absolutely. If I have someone to hold it and they're not going, then I'm just going to grab it. Mainly because, too, when you're a woman, you typically have a purse, and then you have that, and there's just a lot of moving parts, like, to make sure that that's all secure. And so it's like, if I have someone to hold it, like someone's not going to the bathroom, then yeah. But no, if I was standing there and it was like, oh, we're both going to go, then I just take it with me. Like, I have thought about it, but...
So this has never been a thought of mine. And a part of it is, and I assume you haven't been in a ton of men's bathrooms.
Yeah.
A lot of men's bathrooms, they got the shelf now.
Yeah.
Got the shelf right
Women's
here.
don't typically have that.
Well, there's, you know, it's different mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's not even a thought. I'm just like, sure. Put
Yeah.
it there, take care of my business, grab it.
No, because
Or
yeah,
wash
in
hands.
women's there's a lot of times there's not a shelf, and if you get to one of the toilet paper things that's like the small circular ones, where are you supposed to put it?
I had never even considered the option of not taking my beverage into
Yeah,
the
no,
bathroom.
I think that's a pretty standard woman thing. Like, you have to kind of think about that. I don't have an issue. Like, I won't put my foot down and say, no, you're holding my beer. Like, and I'm gonna go pee. But you do think about it.
Wow, man.
There's just not like,
Life is a rich tapestry.
yeah. There's just
I-
we
you
have
know-
a lot more stuff to deal with.
like grow every day. Grow every day. I feel like I'm growing now. And I guess, of course, I held my wife's beer. Like, that's the end of the story is I did what my wife asked me to do. So, she's the real winner here. All right, Pip Theme Expo. Pickle! Hit the arrow sign. Yes, yo! From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a show on the internet. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live on TexasFootball.com, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, on Pickles, like Blogspot, or you listen to us in the podcast. Do you have a Blogspot? Did you ever have a blog?
I did for a class one time, but that was it. Like, nothing. No.
Or you listen to us in the podcast.
The answer to your question is no.
AshleyPickle.geocities.com. Or you listen to us in the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. That's Android, Spotify, Apple.
All of them.
Stitcher, all those places. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I'm sitting over there at the helm today making us sound good. She's the Duchess of the Dorks. She's Ashley Pickle.
Howdy, folks.
Hi.
Happy Monday. Do people say Happy Monday?
No. You know who says Happy Monday? Obnoxious people.
That's fair.
Happy Monday! No, it's not.
Good morning!
We're all here. We'd all rather not be here.
Wants to be here.
It's fine. Today is Monday, April 18th, 2022. 220 days till Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to Conan O'Brien.
Oh, nice.
Most known for writing for The Simpsons.
Yep, that's it. That's the one.
Thing.
That's how people recognize him.
Hey, he wrote some of the most outstanding episodes. He wrote the Monorail episode.
Oh, well, there you go.
Monorail. Marge versus the Monorail. It's a great episode.
Extremely familiar.
Lyle Lanley, one of the best characters.
Who wouldn't know what that?
Episode 1371.
Yep.
Yeah, nailed it. On today's show, friends, we've got headlines from across the state, including SMU picks up a big-time transfer, and we have the predicate to a sentence that we talked about last Monday in the high school ranks. We'll talk about that. And then back half of the show, we're going to be joined by the head coach at San Antonio Sotomayor, Coach Juan Morales. Now, perhaps you've never heard of San Antonio Sotomayor. Mm-hmm. That's okay. We're here to get you up to speed.
Yep.
The Wildcats are going to be playing their first ever season in 2022, and Coach Morales is going to be the man at the helm. He's helping build those Wildcats up. So we will talk to Coach Morales coming up here. Go down to the 210.
That was a logo that I had to add to our arsenal.
there's about like 10.
Yeah, every year that I've got to kind of
grab stuff like that. So we will have Coach Morales from San Antonio Sotomayor coming up here at the back half of the show. Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was Robert Legault, Tony Blaylock, Rob Hadaway, and Coach Terry Crawford. Matt Stepp, get your green bubble bull crap out of my comments.
Is he caping for the green bubble?
Shout out Android users.
Yuck.
Gross. That, and he feels the need to tell me that it was 38 degrees yesterday. I was like, Matthew, I don't like any of this stuff.
Look, I'm just saying. Yesterday, I don't know what you did yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday was the nicest day of the year.
Yes.
It was
incredibly nice outside.
It's really good.
Yeah, and so he was up there in 30-degree Canada weather, which is
sucks to suck. All right. Let's get to some headlines from across the state of Texas. We are going to start in the college ranks, and we're going to start with a pretty sizable transfer in the college football ranks, and that is that SMU is getting a new running back. Now, you may remember a few weeks back when I would say rather late and rather shockingly is probably not the word, but surprisingly, SMU lost their leading rusher in Ulysses Bentley. Ulysses Bentley went into the transfer portal. So they were down a running back. They were not going to be they were going to field the team. They were going to have a running back. They had Trey Siggers. They had Tyler Levine. But Ulysses Bentley, I think, was pretty clearly their best best option at running back. He transfers. Well, now they have brought in a transfer from Alabama, and it's a local kid coming home. Former Lakeview Centennial 5-star running back Kamar Wheaton, who was the 3rd-ranked running back in the class of 2021, is transferring to SMU. He redshirted at Alabama in 2021, which means that he's still got 4 years of eligibility there at SMU. This is a huge, huge addition to them.
Yeah.
He's a big play running back. He was a splashy guy when he was at Lakeview Centennial.
Yeah, that's one we looked at and we're like, yeah, they'll be just fine.
And that's the thing. So you think about what Ulysses Bentley was compared to Trey Siggers and Tyler Levine. I like Trey Siggers and Tyler Levine.
Yes.
They are more bruisers.
Yes.
They are a little bit more lower the shoulder, get the tough yards guy. They are not – they have some explosiveness to them, but that's not really their forte. Their forte is getting the tough yards. They didn't – so by losing Ulysses Bentley, they had lost their big play threat in the running game. I would say they picked it up.
Yes,
in
absolutely.
Kamar Wheaton.
And he's a guy, too, that'll be able to come in and make, like, immediate impact.
Yes.
Like, you don't have to give him a year to warm up or something like that.
Correct. So I think this is a huge, huge get for SMU. Really changes what that offense is going to look like in the first year under Coach Rhett Lashley. So that is huge, huge there for SMU. Another thing I want to point you out to, a couple things on TexasFootball.com I want to point out to. One is if you're not subscribed to Republic of Football, what the heck you doing?
Yeah, you should do that.
Republic of Football is great, and the most recent one is kind of a UTEP episode.
Yep.
Craven was out in El Paso, and he sat down with Dan Dimmel, the head coach there at UTEP, and had a great conversation with him. So make sure you go and listen to Republic of Football with Mike Craven, with Ishmael Johnson, and with Mallory Hartley. It is an excellent podcast that I am giving the official Texas Football Today stamp of approval. Congratulations.
2 thumbs up.
Football. Congratulations to Republic of Football.
Great job, guys.
Well done.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Good job.
Well done. We clap. Yes.
Another thing I want to draw you to on TexasFootball.com is a piece from our friend Corey Hogue. And I think when we think about the transfer portal, we think about it in a very specific way. We think about what happened with Kamar Wheaton that we just talked about. Kamar Wheaton goes from Alabama to SMU. Quinn Ewers goes from Ohio State to Texas, right? Brandon Campbell goes from USC to where do you end up? North Texas.
Gosh.
No.
No.
UTSA.
There we go.
Right? Those types of transfers are the ones that we think about.
Yes.
I want to draw your attention to what's going on in another level of it, which is folks who are transferring from FBS teams to FCS teams. And this is another thing that I think is very interesting. We saw this coming with the COVID waiver for 2020, as well as with the transfer portal. We ran through it on Math Tuesday last week about how I said we framed it as it's getting harder to get recruited.
Right.
Another way to put it is that FBS teams are taking fewer kids.
Yes.
But what's happening is that the number of FBS caliber kids is not dropping. If anything, it's probably going up.
Yeah.
Right? Probably going up. But what's going to happen is there's going to be that trickle down. And that there's going to be some kids who should be Power 5, they're going to end up in Group of 5. There are going to be some kids that end up in FBS or that end up in FCS that should be FBS. And there's going to be a trickle down, and I think that what you're going to see is a quality of play all the way down. There's going to be D3 kids who should be D2 kids.
Yes.
You know? And so Corey Hogue's got a great piece up on TexasFootball.com talking about the transfer portal and how you are seeing, I believe now 11 Texas FCS schools have added 11 former Power 5 players this year. For example, Lindsey Scott. Lindsey Scott has added from Nichols is going to Incarnate Word. B.J. Foster. B.J. Foster, of course, was a star there at Texas. He is now heading to Sam Houston, right? That type of transfer is also happening. We probably don't pay enough attention to it, but there is this trickle-down effect of players who are entering the transfer portal and saying, you know what, I'm going to go play at the FCS level.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to see names that maybe you recognize from big-time Power 5 programs that are now going to end up there at that are going to end up elsewhere. So especially the FCS level. So keep an eye on that one. It's a great piece up on TexasFootball.com from Corey Hogue. To the high school ranks we go, Pickle. You may remember last Monday we had the, I suppose, breaking news at that point.
Yeah.
That Rodney Webb was retiring from coaching at Denton Guyer, leaving Denton Guyer open. We had speculated. We would say it was informed speculation that we knew he might be headed to some sort of administrative role. Thank you. We now know that. He is the new athletic director at Highland Park.
May have heard of it.
Johnny Ringo retired there at Highland Park. Rodney Webb going to be the new AD at Highland Park. Now, something to keep in mind, which I think is interesting. And certainly, I hope he coaches forever. But Randy Allen is a veteran, let's say. He's a veteran.
He's a man that has left and come back before.
Correct. He is, he's shown at one point
interest in retirement.
Exactly. Interest in retirement. I'm not blowing smoke here. I don't have any inside information.
No.
I don't know if Randy Allen's retiring. I don't know. I don't know when he's retiring. He may never retire.
I'm not leaving.
But now, probably the most notable thing about Rodney Webb is that he will theoretically be in charge
of making the next hire.
At Highland Park. So, big shoes to fill.
And that's something that has not been done in a hot minute.
Done since in a while. So, keep an eye on that one. But Rodney Webb is the new athletic director at Highland Park. Corsicana's made a hire. Corsicana, you may remember, Hal Wasson retired after a legendary career. He retired there after 2021 season. They have hired Eric Sardinia. Eric Sardinia, the A-Leaf Elsick head coach, to be the next head coach at Corsicana. Eric Sardinia was a one-time coach at Dangerfield, bounced around a little bit. Now that he's coming from A-Leaf Elsick to Corsicana. So they have made their hire for the Tigers. Out west, Ballinger has made a hire. You remember the weird thing we talked about with Decatur? So Decatur, before the 2021 season, they, if I may editorialize, they railroaded Mike Fuller, the guy who took over in the interim capacity, who had nothing to do with it. I'm not certainly, but they needed an interim coach. The interim coach they hired was Ty Lang. Ty Lang, he took over. He was the interim coach for Decatur in 2021. He now has a permanent job. He is the new head coach there at Ballinger. Remember, Decatur hired from Steve Huff from College Station.
Yes. Which is still just weird.
So Ty Lang is now going to move from his interim position at Decatur over to be the new head coach of the Ballinger Bearcats. Chuck Lipsy is out there at Ballinger, so they have a new head coach. And finally, the last one I want to bring up is that it's Fort Bend Willow Ridge. Fort Bend Willow Ridge has made a hire. We probably at least mentioned it here on the headlines. But Ramon Chinyoung was the gentleman who confused me very much as to why he was going to the Denver Broncos. But he is going to the Denver Broncos. They need a new head coach. They've hired Fort Bend Hightower assistant head coach Kendron Penson to be their new head coach. Of note, this is the second Hightower assistant to get a head coaching job. Will Blaylock was an assistant coach there at Hightower, goes to become the head coach at Lubbock Estacado.
Not surprising.
So Hightower starting to pump out a number of head coaches. The latest one, Kendron Penson, the new head coach there at Fort Bend Willow Ridge, moving from his assistant head coaching position there at Hightower. Those are some headlines from across the state. We, of course, have you covered at TexasFootball.com for all things off-season football news in the state of Texas. NFL draft's coming up, right? It's like,
shoot.
You know what it is?
You know what?
You know what it is?
What?
So we're going to, I guess we should, there's a quick programming note.
Yeah.
We will not have a show Tuesday or Wednesday next week.
Yes.
Because
realistically, not Monday either, right?
I think we're going to record a show.
Yeah.
Do it. But so we won't have a show Tuesday and Wednesday because we're going to a conference.
Yes.
In Las Vegas, and I noticed this because I was looking up some of the Uber stuff, and I'm doing like the planning thing.
Hey.
Oh, let's get a folder together, guys.
Yeah.
Of how we're going to spend our time. And I realized we leave on Wednesday morning.
Yes.
Thursday night is round 1 of the NFL draft in Vegas.
Are they doing it in the water of the Bellagio again, or like they were supposed to?
I think they're going to.
Because they were supposed to do that.
I know it's in Las Vegas.
Okay.
That's all I know.
Because they were supposed to do that in 2020 or 2021, and it got canceled because they were going to shuttle them on the boats and stuff.
So they might be doing it. Anyway.
Well, maybe we'll run into some cool football nerds.
Yeah, but I also think we're probably getting out just in time.
Just in time,
I think
yeah.
that place is going to become a zoo. Anyway, there's a programming note. We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. TexasFootball.com is where you can find complete coverage of high school football, college football, and recruiting all across the Lone Star State. Hope you'll consider becoming a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider, TexasFootball.com/subscribe. That's our subscription package. 2 magazines and a year's worth of exclusive online content at TexasFootball.com. If you go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe. If you want the 2022 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football mailed to you before it hits newsstands, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe. We're working very hard on it. If I look tired, it's because I am, because I've been up late working on the magazine. Go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe to become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider. Pickle, let's go to the hotline. And let's go down to San Antonio to talk to the head coach of the San Antonio Sotomayor Wildcats. We're joined by Coach Juan Morales. Coach, how are you?
I am doing fantastic, sir. Thank you.
How are things in beautiful San Antonio, Texas?
Well, you know what? It's beautiful weather today. I'm enjoying it. Well, I can say that I'm enjoying it just in the times that I get outside.
Of course. And you've probably been cooped up because there's a lot of work to do there at Sotomayor, building up the what is going to be the 12th school, the 12th high school there in Northside ISD. And you come over from a pretty successful stint there at Holmes, and previous to that there at Highlands. What was it about this job, which is certainly unique, building a program from scratch? What was it about this job that appealed to you?
Well, being able to start a program right off the bat, that's an appeal as it is already. Kind of put your own stamp on something, be able to start your own traditions, be able to just, be a part of just a brand new opening of a school. I can't say much about that in terms of that itself just being rewarding. But of course, being a Northside person, I've been here over 20 years. I've seen it come and grow and become the 4th biggest district in the state of Texas. So to be able to take a school that way and be able to say, well, now that I've helped kind of put my mark on John Jay and my time there at Brennan and now at Holmes, I would hope that they would have some faith that I can do the same thing for Sotomayor starting out.
This program is going to obviously have your stamp on it, in your fingerprints all over what it's going to look like. I'm interested. What have you found to be? You guys are still, a few months away from playing your first game, but what have you found to be the biggest challenge for you in building this program? In a place that you're taking nothing and you're turning it into something. What for now so far has been the biggest challenge for you?
Well, the biggest challenge is trying to get everybody on board. Mm-hmm. When you start, I kind of compare it to, you're painting the floor in a house, and it doesn't matter what part of that floor you start on, you're going to wind up painting yourself into one of those corners because none of the doors are open for you. And what I mean by that is obviously you have to take into account a little matrix of what teaching fields you have, what positions are available, and then at the same time you're trying to get the best of the best out here. And in some great fashion, it's a good problem to have, but at the same time it's just trying to make sure all the pieces fit. So that's been probably one of the biggest things. So anytime you start a program, it's once you start putting the pieces in, now you've got to fit all the other pieces that come in after that to make sure those fit as well. So it's been an interesting process.
We're talking with Juan Morales, the head coach of the San Antonio Sotomayor Wildcats here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation at hashtag TF Today. All right, Coach, you guys you're in a unique position because you do know. Correct me if I'm wrong. The school's not open yet, correct?
That is correct. We don't open up till probably mid-June or July. Sorry.
But you do know a number of the players that you expect to have on campus. You've had an opportunity to chat with them, and if you have, what has been your message to your guys that are going to make up your Wildcats in the fall?
Well, we actually have a chance to work out with them. So Coach Salas has done a great job of kind of separating those kids out for us over at Hardin. Then, of course, we have a separation of kids that are going to be coming to us from Coach Molesky's group over there at O'Connor High School. And so in the mornings, we work out with Hardin kids there, and we're borrowing quote unquote their weight room and facilities. And then we do the same thing at the end of the day with O'Connor. And then, of course, visiting all our middle schools and working with them. But the biggest thing is we're going to make the biggest splash we can possibly make this first year. And in terms of making history, we're going to make history. It's just, what is that history going to look like? And so we want to make sure that they understand they want to take it to the top.
Juan Morales from San Antonio Sotomayor joining us. Coach, this is one of the unique challenges that you guys are going to face. And this isn't the same with every new program in the state, but you guys right into 6A. Just, there's no easing into this thing. You guys are going to go in there and you'll be playing with there won't be any seniors on your 2022 or team. Yes. So I'm interested, how do you approach that challenge of playing at the state's highest classification with a new program with young players? How do you approach that what is a pretty unique challenge?
Well, you try and surround yourself with some great coaches, and I think we put together so far a great all-star staff, getting everybody on the same page. And then at the next level, you get all the kids on the same level and the same stage. And so that's always been the formula. That was my case over at Highlands, same thing at Holmes. Get everybody on the same page, make sure that we have some great fundamentals, and then make sure that they understand what our core beliefs are. I mean, we've got to be there every day. We've got to make sure that we're putting through that max effort. The focus has got to be there constantly, and then have some fun while we're doing it. Have a lot of enthusiasm, great attitude. When kids are having fun, they want to produce. And so that's been the formula for our success, and that's what we're doing now. And then I tell you what, we've had a great time now. We've had a chance to work with these kids since January, and they're right on par. They're excited about what's coming up.
You mentioned the formula, and that finding the formula to make this thing work. You are no stranger to quick builds. When you took over there at San Antonio Highlands back in 2015, you took over a program that was 0-10. Next year, finished second in district, 7-4, back into the playoffs for the first time in quite a few years. So then, do you feel like there are lessons you can take from what was a pretty quick build there with the Owls, and transfer it over to what you guys are going to be doing there at Sotomayor?
Oh, yes, sir, definitely. We've had a chance to kind of do the same thing over at Holmes. I will tell you that it was a tougher district, and the challenges were a little bit different. And trying to get everybody on the same page was just a different kind of avenue that we had to follow. This will be the case here. This is show up or put up or shut up kind of situation. So we want to make sure these kids understand that we care deeply about what their future looks like here this very first year, and trying to lay that base down, trying to set that history in place. And that's exactly what we're bringing to them. We want to make sure that we're, again, making that big splash coming out.
And finally, Coach, I'm interested in your. We mentioned you're going into 6A. You're going into a district, entirely there with your ISD bunkmates there, and some really good teams and some really good coaches there in Northside ISD with there Brennan and Taft and Harlan and O'Connor and Warren and Stevens, Holmes, etc. I'm interested in do you feel like you've got the other coaches in that district have your back, and that they've been helpful in building it? Because sometimes, hey, that's the rival across town. Don't know if I want to necessarily help them out as much as that may come back to bite it. What is the relationship with the other coaches there in the school district been like?
Well, in Northside, I will tell you, we have a great fraternity of coaches. The head coaches here just, they want you to win every single game except one. That's the way every single one of us put it. And yeah, we totally understand friendly competition, but at the same time, it is competition. But I mean, I know so many of these guys and grown up basically here the last 20 years with so many of them. So many of them have just been really, really cooperative. They've been really helpful. Several of them have started new programs. Coach Baser over at Brennan, I was around when he started that. Coach, seeing Brandeis open up, seeing O'Connor open up. I mean, I've been around for all of those schools, and to be able to just pick their brain a little bit about what are the things that they've gone through, especially now just recently with Coach Salas opening up Hardin just a few years back, and he's been extremely helpful as well. So all these coaches, all of us want and need for Northside to be on the map, and so we do a great job of sharing ideas and sharing concepts.
He's Juan Morales. He's the head coach of the San Antonio Sotomayor Wildcats. Coach, really appreciate your time. Congratulations again on the new gig and the job. We're so excited to see your Wildcats take the field in the fall.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you all taking the time, and I love what you guys do. Keep doing what you're doing.
Absolutely. Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
There goes Juan Morales, head coach of San Antonio Sotomayor, joining us here on Texas Football Today. The 12th school there in Northside ISD. And I mentioned it's mentioned on the graphic, but you have San Antonio Sotomayor. Yes, it's named after Justice Sonia Sotomayor of the United States Supreme Court. And if you take a look on all the ones in Northside ISD, they're all named after Supreme Court justices.
Yep. Warren,
Taft, Brennan, O'Connor, like they're all named after him, which I think is, it's a cool idea. You know what I mean? And to start that and continue that. But he's there. He said it, they're right into the teeth of it. There's no easing into this. Like they're going to play San Antonio Brennan like week 3.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, welcome aboard.
Yeah, that is very crazy how they're having to go about the school not actually being open and talk about being ready to face adversity. Like, I guess that's something that prepares you for.
And think about that. So they're drawing from, I guess he said they're drawing from Harlan and they're drawing from.
I thought he said Warren.
Okay. So if they're drawing from there, they're splitting off the kids that are going to end up going, like in spring practice. They're splitting off those kids that are going to be going to Sotomayor next year. And then they're going and having practice with them in the morning, and then going to the other school and practicing them in the evening. That is, talk about building it from scratch and having to build the plane as you're flying it.
Well, and I feel like we never focus enough on the schools that are being pulled from at that point. Think about how much that does affect a program like Warren and stuff. Yeah. So it's wild.
Very interesting. We appreciate Juan Morales, the head coach there at San Antonio Sotomayor, joining us here on Texas Football Today. Let's go over to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts.
I want to push everybody that if you aren't able to catch the show live, to go to our YouTube page. It's youtube.com/Dave Campbell's TF. Hit that subscribe button. It alerts you when the videos come out, and we've got a lot of good stuff coming out. Like, we've got another facilities tour coming out this week. So hit the subscribe button, the red one. Help us get to our goal.
And, yes, because we are very close to a round number.
And I would like to hit that. So
Pickle
if y'all
wants
can
that round
help,
number.
that would be awesome.
Yes. Texas Football, or it's youtube.com/Dave Campbell's TF. Or just search Dave Campbell's Texas Football. We'll pop
We'll
up there
send
on
you
YouTube.
a autographed picture of Tepper.
Who's going to autograph it?
Ish.
Okay. It's a picture of me signed by Ish. I love it. Let's put that on our merch store. Oh, buddy of mine texted me this week. Texted me Sunday. He was at church, and I think he helps out with his church, like behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah,
big
church day.
Yeah.
Easter.
Oh yeah. He texted me and he goes, he sent me, he's like, Happy Easter, and it was a photo of apparently the sound guy at this church wearing the Dave Campbell's hoodie.
Oh, no kidding.
And he said, and my buddy goes, I didn't even know you guys had a merch store. He's like, he says he has a Tep and Step shirt too. I love it.
That's awesome. Shout out audio guy at Undescribed Church.
Yeah, TexasFootball.com/merch to get your Dave Campbell's Texas Football merch.
We need to do a shirt of the month. That's on us.
I have
we
one
need
queued
to do
up.
It. Oh, okay. Well, we need to pump it out.
Okay, if you insist. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCCF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks again to Juan Morales of San Antonio Sotomayor.
It's Mike Craven. We haven't seen him in years.
For being our guest. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please get your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see if we're still amazed at our coworkers walking by tomorrow on Texas Football Today.